All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning. Welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. We are going to talk about, again, Tampa Bay Lightning. So, going over all 32 teams starting from Z to A, we have done Vegas, Winnipeg, Capitals, Toronto, Vancouver, and now we're on to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, we're going to be going over this Atlantic team who did couple moves here and there. But there's actually a player I really want to talk about that I'm really excited about for them that I don't even see on their lines right now. So I'm really excited to show you guys them because it was a waiver claim pickup and it's going to be really good for him. Potentially. I mean, we'll see because I'm really excited about him. So let's jump over into the Tampa Bay Lightning. And so we're going over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Have some cap space that they're over, right? 6.9, but they have a guy on LTIR. It's 6.8. I think it's Brent Seabrook, I believe. And so with the LTIR, they're only $73,000 over the cap, which means they'll probably have to send someone down. But I want to show you guys. So they'll have to figure that out. That's not gonna be too hard to find someone they can just quickly send down. Not a big deal. So excited about who they picked up. Some big losses. And some questionable things for me on the defense. So let's go over a couple of these players that they've got that I do like. Of course, you like your Nikita Kucherovs, your Points, your Stamkos, your big guys, your Sorellis. Nick Paul was a great pickup as well. Very long deal, but it's wild. Tanner Jeannot was picked up in that massive trade where Tampa Bay sent 6 pieces to the Nashville Predators. It was a first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, all in different years, right? Or all in a bunch of years, right? Plus Cal Foot over to the Nashville Predators just for Tanner Jeannot for him to get injured and not play that well for them, honestly. They did sign him to a bridge deal at $2.6 million. They also picked up Connor Sherry, Brandon Hagel, who they picked up last year. Josh Archibald as well. Michael Anisimov, who was on the Winnipeg Jets, and then Sharks claimed him on waivers and then traded him to the Tampa Bay Lightning, I believe. I believe that was some along those lines. It was close. So Luke Lennon-Denny they picked up from he was playing on the Stars last year. Logan Brown good pickup. I really hope he works out. I'm excited for him to play there. I think he's going to get some good money there. And this guy right here, Alex Boulay-Barr. So before we jump into the full Tampa Bay, if you're a Tampa Bay fan, you probably clicked on this because you like them. Either that or you're a me fan, and I appreciate even more for that. So, but if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, you should be really excited about this guy. I just want to highlight his points. So he's picked up. So jump back over. He was picked up from the Seattle Kraken on waivers October 21st, 22nd of 2021. So right here you can see he played with the Tampa Bay Lightning, 3 points in. I don't want to spoil it yet. So 3 points in 15 games. Syracuse Crunch, 12 points in 10 games. That's pretty good in the AHL, right? That's pretty good. Kraken, 1 point in 2 games. Tampa Bay Lightning, 5 points. So he's doing okay. The Syracuse Crunch right here, right? 63 points in 58 games. Holy smokes. Tampa Bay Lightning try him out for a game, didn't work. And here, 84 points in 69 games. This guy is a killer. I'm excited for Tampa Bay Lightning fans in general for this player alone. I think you got a lot of potential. He's like 25. He was undrafted, this guy. So I'm super excited for him. He's in the QMJHL. Okay, so a little bit. I mean, he puts up points, 89 points. I mean, he did well. I mean, probably at this point, I think he's an overager. So, but I'm surprised he didn't get drafted. This is exciting for him. I'm excited for you guys and to have him and everything. But yeah, so that's another guy there on the roster. Again, I hope he plays. He looks like a dynamic player. Honestly, if one of your top 6 gets injured, I wouldn't even bother. Just send him up there. I want to see what he can do, man. Which is exciting. So, anyways, of course, you have the big ones you picked up were Calvin DeHaan, Hayden Fleury, as well as those are the 2 that you picked up and signed recently. And so I want to go over some of the transactions, just see who they lost and who they picked up. Signing Cole Kopech, they extended him real quick because he's going to show up on the lines chart, which again I don't think he should. I think he should put the other guy in. They signed Josh Archibald, which is a 2-year deal. Jonas Johansson, goalie over there, left. Rudolph Balcers was not re-signed. I wish they would have. I really like Rudolph Balcers. Neither was Pierre Edouard Bellemare. Elliott was gone, the backup goalie, for a bit. anyone big. Ian Cole was left. They signed Logan Brown. Right, a couple of these. The big one. Alex Killorn going to Anaheim for a 4-year deal. I think it was like $6.5 million a year. Huge deal. I mean, and Killorn was a huge piece. That's gonna hurt them a ton on that left wing. Who do they have filling in on that? Brendan Hagel. He is not a Killorn. He is tough. I would actually I disagree with these lines. I would move Hagel down. Anisimov down. Cole, I'd send him down. He's got a 2-way contract, so I would send him down as well. And then I would honestly pop that Alex Barre-Boulet. I'd pop him in there. Give him a chance. Honestly, that would be huge. That'd be so huge. I'm for that. If you're a Lightning fan, you should definitely be for that as well. So those are a couple of the people. Connor Sherry as well picked up. Getting Calvin DeHaan, re-signed Tanner Jeannot, Jamel Smith. He went off to the KHL to go sign there. So, anyway, and then going over, we did the defense real quick, and of course, I mean, goalies. Doesn't matter who you have backup. Jonas Johansson, he had some time. He was playing with the Colorado Avalanche in the AHL as well with the Colorado Eagles, I believe it was. And of course, you have Vasilevsky. I mean, your Vasilevsky's going to play 65 games as it is. You have Jonas Johansson just to kind of backstop him. Although he did have he did actually play pretty well. If you look at his stats real quick, he actually played pretty well with the Colorado Eagles. And he had some good numbers. So if you go over here, Colorado, let's see, scrolling down, you have right here. So in there's 3 games with the Colorado Avalanche, .932, not too shabby. 2.1 goal saves above expected, not too bad. That's only 3 games though. In 26 games with the Colorado Eagles though, 2.33, not too shabby, and a .92 in the AHL too, which is a little bit more higher scoring because the guys are just firing goals off, or firing shots off. So, okay, so I want to go over these line combinations again. I kind of went through. I mean, Stamkos, Point, Kucherov. I mean, let's go over the points just real quick, just so you can see them. Here's the points on Cap Friendly. Stamkos, Point, Kucherov. Look at 84 points, 95 points, 113 points. I mean, you get 3 point per game players over here. You can't be mad about that, honestly. And they're all drafted by you as well, which is huge. So, Brendan Hagel played well, 64 points. Again, I want to get this other guy a chance, but 64 points is nothing to scratch at. Maybe I was wrong in that. He did play 18 minutes last year, and I would never mind. Probably leave him there. That's a pretty good spot. Anthony Cirelli, your more defensive guy, 29 points, 58 games. A little bit injury right there, so 18 points in 76 games for Tanner Jeannot. Poor guy, man. He needs an opportunity, but he needs to step up, honestly. He needs to be at least a half point per game. Genuinely needs to be at least half point per game. Connor Sherry, kind of that tough grit, almost a half point per game. Good pickup. He used to play in Washington, and he sounds good. Again, you're kind of just trying to whittle down to these depth players. I mean, Archibald Brown and Luke Glendening, these are going to be your penalty kill, grit guys that kind of just fill in. You can see the points they weren't putting up a ton of points last year. That's okay because they're filling in at this point. So, of course, you have Victor Hedman, 49 points. You have Sergachev as well on the second line. Eric Cernak, your defensive guy. You have Nick Perbix, your other defensive guy. So, I mean, I'm surprised that Mikhail Sergachev isn't on that top D with the way that his production is, 64 points. But I imagine he's playing the caliber of players he's playing against is a little bit easier than what Hedman's be playing against. So, but again, I think they're great players. So I'm excited about. I'm interested. So I apologize if I've been giving the wrong impression. I think Tampa Bay. Oh, you're gonna be mad if you're a Tampa Bay fan. I think Tampa Bay has a lot of potential because they've played well. The problem is I don't think these are your best. You're not rolling out the best lines, right? I think these are all. I think your top line is one of the great lines in the Eastern Conference. I think you're going point per games on each one of these guys, right? So this is a great top line. The rest, I'm not too impressed with. Cirelli, I like. Hagel was pretty good. Sherry's a fine addition. I I'm not impressed, honestly. Nick Paul played well. I just don't think I mean, you're getting Luke Glendening, the specialist on the face-off. I'll give you that. But overall, I'm not super impressed. I think this is like a B for your forward group. B plus, because these guys hold so much weight up here, and so does Hagel. But Cirelli, I guess, is good. But I'm not super impressed with this. I don't know if this is a top of the division. I think Toronto will take them out for top division. I think this is maybe a third or fourth team, like a wild card team in the division. So I'm not super impressed with this. Defense I like a little bit better. I do like the defense a lot better. Zach Bogosian and Calvin Nahan. I mean, it's your third pair, so I'm not too worried about it. But Zach Bogosian is kind of a staple over there. But of course, you have Hedman and Sergachev, who are just phenomenal as well. So this is a pretty good. Probably give this an A minus. And of course, you have Vasilevsky. By the way, I'm looking at this, and no team is perfect, of course. But to me, I'm not super impressed. Maybe it's just because we've seen Tampa Bay play like this so far. Like we've seen, this is Tampa Bay. They play this way all the time. We've seen them a ton. I'm just not super impressed. I just think they're a third. They got worse. You can't debate me that they got better. They didn't get better. They just didn't get better. They lost Killorn. Objectively, they are a worse team. So, and they only finished third in the standings last year, right? Third? Yeah. They finished third. So, because they versed Toronto. And Toronto beat them. Toronto went to the second round. They lost to Toronto. So, you're going to tell me that they're going to get better? Then show me. Like, show me that they're going to get better. Show me that you believe in them. I'll tell you this. I can get behind Vasilevsky. I can totally get behind Vasilevsky. I can tell you that first line's going to be phenomenal. They're going to play very well. I think your depth's going to hurt you. I don't love the depth that they've got here. I'm not very impressed. And the one thing that I really noticed is that a lot of those guys are starting to not be your drafted players. And I think that's where you're starting to bite you in the butt. You're not developing the talent of these guys. They're not in the system. A lot of these guys, I think it was one of the benefits for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let me move this off my face. I think one of the benefits for the Tampa Bay Lightning was that you had these guys develop in the AHL, which is a similar system to what the Tampa Bay Lightning run. And then now you're bringing these guys in, and they're not playing the same system, right? They're coming from other teams. Sherry from Washington, Archibald's not from there, right? You're just getting these guys that are a little more random. Jeannot was in Nashville, right? Hopefully he bounces back, but these guys, before you were bringing these guys up, they were grassroots. They were in your ECHL team. They were in your AHL team. So that you brought them up and they played a similar system. And I think that's the harm that's what's happening right now. That's just why I think they're a third or fourth in the division team. I think you're going to get Tampa and Florida are going to be phenomenal. I think Toronto. Toronto's going to be great. Not Tampa and Florida. Toronto is going to be number one in the division. I think Boston will fall. I think Florida will rise. I think Florida got a little. I think they got more refined, I'd say. But you get Buffalo as well. I mean, honestly, Buffalo could take a 4 spot, right, and knock them down. So I just don't know. I don't see it. I just don't see it. So I'm curious on what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again, I need help. Can you convince me that Tampa Bay is worth cheering for? Because right now Toronto's looking really good, right? Buffalo's looking phenomenal in this division. I don't cheer for Boston because anyone outside of Boston doesn't like Boston. So, but I can get behind Tampa Bay because Steve Yzerman did a great job, did all this drafting, and you built a great team. I just don't see it unless Vasilevsky in the playoffs is super hot. I think you're a third or fourth in the division team, and they could lose that spot. It's honestly, it could be Boston, Florida. I think Florida gets second in the division. I think for some reason I'm feeling Florida. I think you got Toronto, Florida. I think the Boston, Tampa Bay, and Buffalo's, any of those mixes could be good. Devin Levi could go off in Buffalo, and that similar to Vasilevsky, right? And that could be it, right? So let me know what your thoughts are. Tell me what you think about Tampa Bay. Convince me. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts on Tampa Bay, because I can't convince myself that they're the real deal. So, anyways, hit like, subscribe, and catch you later.